Greetings, my friends. This is Maerlande, coming back to you with some more Tactical Briefing 3, starting with turn 50, and we'll go as far as we can with it. So I fixed my version problems. That sure was some fun and games. And we'll move on to research first. I went for blood magic, and the reason is my target, we can have a look here, was Horde from Hell. I consider this a highly valuable spell at 44 slaves. Some people think it's pricey. I don't. I think what you get for it is 25 valid patrollers, siege defenders, and fort crackers. Plus you get a flying undead commander. There's other goodies in there, but that was the key one. Send Lesser Horrors, pretty sweet for, I've got Blood and Astral Magi, things like that. But that was the main one. And then I'm going to work on some Conjuration. Maybe use up some of the gems that I've stockpiled. You can have a look here, we'll pop out quickly. You can see I've got a pretty humongous stockpile of fire and air gems. Not so much the others, but those are the ones that it would be nice to have something to use them on. Going back to messages, I tossed some more Rain of Toads, so I'm just trying to keep Helheim's forts locked up. And there was battles. Abyssias continues to put a pressure on Helheim. Helheim counterattacked with a thug. Not going to spend any time looking at that. We've seen what he does with those. Aeoli was my major attack, moving forward in the second front I opened up. And Abyssia attacking, and then I got on top of the fort at Nifl. And I've cracked the fort in one turn. A few random events, none of them terribly interesting. So let's look at the strategic situation. I've shifted gears a bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some hordes from hell out there to cut off retreats or take some little bits of provinces. I've got one here going to Anremark. Could be a little hard to find Anremark on my screen right at the moment. And a couple others tossing out. Where are we here? This one's going at Black Peaks. And then I've got some more horde from hells coming out of Darkwoods and some out of Vanheim. So if we just take a look, you can see I'm going to clear out these barbarians, get the throne back at Juek. I'm going to keep pushing on Helheim, but hopefully avoiding a conflict directly with Abyssia. Might as well treat him as an ally, even though it's a no Diplo game and we can't discuss things. And I'm going to start taking his forts, starting with Nifl, moving towards his capital. I think that sums up turn 51 in the ways, or turn 50, I'm sorry, in ways that you can't see by taking a look at the files themselves. So let's jump out, load up turn 51, and take a look at how successful the use of hordes from hell was. Turn number 51, got the Conjuration is still progressing. I shifted a bit. I'm going to try to finish up level 5 in Conjuration. Let's see if I can remember what the target is. Nice level 5 is probably Nature Monster Toads, a couple other Nature Summons, and a little bit of Fire Summons, but I don't have much intent to use those. Don't really like the lower level Air Summons, and this is not an Air Nation, so they're not terribly useful. And then we'll move on in Blood. I'm starting to target moving up towards getting myself the Blood Uniques, because so far, from what I can tell, I have the largest Blood economy, and I should be able to get all of the Heliophagi and the Archdevils, all of which are very, very useful. In the battles, here in the magic battle phase, you can see the hordes from hell. Gilged, that one failed. Interesting one. The devil got hit, so let's see why. I was doing this earlier today. This is my 4th run on this stupid video, but I had a version problem. I had to go download a replacement of version 4.04. So I was watching this in 4.14, and the replay was bugged and not consistent with the battle report. You see the imps have basically cleared it out. They have pretty good magic resistance, so they're not getting creamed by the Van Hers's banish very much. But here's the trick. The devil jumps forward, and kersmack, that's the end of that fight. The other ones, successful. No problems. Black Peaks, successful. Raphabolia. Raphabolia came up on 2 Van Jarls, so that's not all that surprising. I expect they're geared, as he's been gearing them with the Brand and Vine Shield. Let's take a quick look. And he's got a decent amount of province defense, not a huge amount. That's the Van Hers that comes with province defense. Now that Jarl is not geared. Is the other one? No, neither are geared. So I suppose it's banish and maybe some other things caused the problem. Oh yes, some much more powerful banishes. Well, I think we've seen enough of that. And the last one was Bakar, very successful with a double casting. And Bakar is here. So I've cleared up my retreat path nicely using the Horde from Hell. If anything goes wrong in Neefel, I'll be safe. Some more fights from Abyssia and Helheim. Oh, Abyssia went and got the Elephant Mercenaries, the Elephant Corps. And in Aeole, there was a fight. He attacked me. Well, I've got there a few Jaguar Warriors and Holly, fairly small, so I reinforced that one behind me. Let's just watch and see how that goes for him. I want to take a look. I imagine this one is geared. Yes, a brand. He's sticking with the built-in shield. That's not bad. It's very inexpensive. And for the cost, a Girdle of Might gives him a nice bit of reinvigoration. He's got an encumbrance of 4. The Girdle of Might gives reinvigoration of 3. So he can fight a very long time without fatiguing out. And while he's running forward and not in combat, he'll recover some of his buffing fatigue. See, he cast a buff, a little bit of fatigue, that was just blessing. And he's probably going to cast Mist Form. We'll just watch here. Okay, there's Mist Form. So his fatigue's at 22, but in the time it takes him to get into melee, he should be able to bring that down decently. I think that's a pretty good build. Because another 10 gems for a Vine Shield would make it a bit pricey. It is an option, but you'll notice that we should just take a quick look. Imps have fire resistance, so the AoE component, which is the secondary effect of a firebrand, is not killing other imps in the same square. So he's getting 1 imp a turn, but it is working very well on the province defense. The trouble that's going to happen here is here comes the eagles. And the first thing they've got to do is crack his Mist Form. It's struggling a bit there, but here they go. And there, that should be basically it. He's just being hit by too many single attacks, so even Mist Form doesn't keep him alive. Some unexpected events. I found a sneaking enemy. Oh, look at that, a false prophet and some heretics. Well, they didn't stand a hope. I'm curious to see how that went. I have a suspicion that Summon Ints is what did it, and that's why I didn't even lose any Mictlan slaves. Mictlan slaves are really terrible, but these heretics, well, they haven't got anything going for them at all. They're basically crappy militia. So, enough of that. So I think that covers turn number 51. Strategically, we can see from all the arrows moving, Abyssia has put real pressure on Helheim. Helheim's been able to get some grip on his unrest problems by patrolling. I'm not sure, I can't see what he's patrolling with, but that assumes it's glamour, and therefore it's costly. So that's pretty darn expensive patrolling. I bet you he wished right now that he'd done some Call of the Winds. Call of the Winds is by far one of my all-time favorite patrolling spells. It's very cost effective. Now, who here took Runia from who? I missed that one. Juek, no, it wasn't against me. Yes, it was. No, it was against Abyssia. There we go. Troglodytes. Well, it doesn't hurt me, but I'm not going to jump in there and annoy Abyssia. That would be poaching, and I don't need to do that at this point in time. Now, over in other areas, you can see Caelim's under some pretty hefty threat. Looks like all but dead. Soramadia hasn't really gone anywhere after initial expansion. His war with Caelim has been, I think, slow and painful. I wanted to look at the score graphs. Look at the provinces. Caelim dropped down, but is doing a strong final ditch defense, and it's putting Soramadia under some pretty hefty pressure. So I think I can discount those two, and really what I have to concern myself is Helheim, and then if I can kill off Helheim, I'll have to deal with Abyssia, or possibly I'll poach on Soramadia and grab some territory. And back at home, it's more or less continuation of the same. This throwing a spring, that's a pretty nice one. I don't really get a lot out of the growth +1 because I'm already growth 3. But another air gem sure doesn't hurt. And back at home, blood hunting, forging some twisting thorns, more or less just continuing on. Stockpiling some slaves, that was a little bit low. Yeah, Getting some more ability with the Armor of Twisting Thorns is a nice way to boost your nature and blood. Summoning some jaguars. And my second offensive army is now in the Great Feral and moving westward. Still well stocked with gems and slaves, so it doesn't need too much in the way of reinforcement. And notice this army very carefully set up deliberately to cover the retreat and stop what exactly Helheim tried to do with the Van Jarls, was cut me off. I'm pretty pleased with the overall results. Fortress of Nifl is about to be taken, and that should pretty much sum it up. So let's move on to the next turn. Of course, we always gotta wait while I load these up. I could cut that out, but you love my voice so much. What fun would that be? I'll claim the throne. I'm tossing some Call of the Winds out. That's pretty sweet. Oh yes, that's right. I got enchantresses. Forgot about those here, the Whispering Woods. And that really opens up some options for other elemental paths. Enchantresses are one of the most wonderful independent magi that you can find with some luck. Pretty darn sweet. Start with some nature and then 200% and a 50. Got a pretty good chance of getting a 2 in all the elemental paths. And you could get a nature 3. I don't really need a nature 3, but it would be a sweet thing to have another one or so of those. You can also see I basically decided not to fiddle around with the water. The time will come and I have plans. Let's jump back to the messages again. Battle in Runia. So, Abyssia's doing the same thing. Bit of an error, I think, in only sending one commander. If something was to go wrong, he'd have guys scattered all over. Felden Forest. My second army did very well. Hyperbokchi. And again, same technique being used by Abyssia. And we took over the fortress at Nifl. There was nobody inside. Well, that's kind of nice. I don't see that I bought any province defense. I probably missed it. It always happens. There's always that chance. But now we're going to have that army. Let's see, where are they headed? Nowhere for the moment. Taking a moment to stock up. Just get caught up on things. Reloaded slaves. Building a temple. So on and so forth. Now, I brought all of those devils back. And you noticed what I've done is given them bows of war. Bows of war. Devils have quite nice precision. So bow of war is a nice option. The ammunition of 7 can be a problem with bow of war, so you want to put it on somebody that when they run out of shots isn't going to get killed instantly. But I still think that's a solid option. And I think I'm sending all 3 of them with their imps over here. So we've got them on hold attack, fire a bit, 3 different squads. I think that's pretty solid. Well, my friends, I think I've covered enough for this episode. Remember, I host these files that you can open them up and check them out yourself on my Google Drive. And I will see you, hopefully, in a day or 2. Take care. Goodbye.